I'm Jeff Newkirk, the host of Game Changers. I talk to people who have done something to make this world a better place. People who are working to make a significant and profound change. So it's simple. Inspire and educate, and let's go change this world. Welcome to the show. Welcome back to the podcast, Game Changers. Today we're going to talk about prepping for the best year ever. 2024 can be a great year, but it's going to be on us to make it that way. It's not going to happen by accident. It's not going to happen by happenstance. It's going to happen because we're going to make it into the best year possible. And that's what I want to talk about, prepping for your best year ever. But before we get started, I want to thank my sponsors that have been with me a long time. And for those of you who know podcasting at all, it's about getting sponsors that help you to keep going, keeping with the podcast. So my sponsor that's been with me the longest, Under Summers by Carrie Ray Munson. So I want to thank Carrie Ray. She's a wonderful person, great entrepreneur, and her business is successful, thriving. Go to undersummers.com and check out all the latest styles that she has. And the other sponsor, I want to thank Magic Mind. It's the world's first productivity shot. And I take it every day. My kids take it every day as well. I just have it with my coffee. It's just about 2 ounces of this drink chock full of antioxidants and vitamins, and it keeps me focused and energized throughout the day. You can learn more at magicmind.com. So again, my sponsors, Under Summers by Carrie Ray Munson can be found at undersummers.com, and Magic Mind, the world's first productivity drink, can be found at magicmind.com. So we're going to talk about prepping for the best year ever. Again, it's on us to make it happen. And in order to make it happen, I think we have to go through specific process. I know I'm all about flowcharts and structure and logic and all that stuff, but I want to really make sure that we follow a plan to make it into the best year ever. So I'm going to throw out what I call the 4 A's, and we're going to get into this maybe a little later in the episode. And the 4 A's are appreciate, attack, add, and achieve. So again, the 4 A's, appreciate, attack, add, achieve. I'll get into what each means in a little bit here. So in order to prep for the best year ever, the first thing that we need to do is review where we were, what happened. So remember, and I've said this before, I want to really live by it, and that is learning from the past, right? We learn from the past, we live in the present, and we plan for the future. We don't dwell on the past. We don't live in the past. We learn from the past. Sometimes we have this tendency to just dwell on all the negativity that's happened and, oh, I can't believe that happened to me, blah, blah, blah. You learn from it and then leave it behind. You leave all of that behind. What happened yesterday is yesterday. Live for today. Plan for tomorrow. So reviewing 2023, that's about learning from the past. So what did you do in 2023 that was stellar? What goals did you achieve? What goals did you maybe fall short on? I can tell you from my own personal set of goals that I had for 2023, there were some that I met. The podcast, for example. The goal that I had for the podcast in 2023, I wanted to record 30 episodes during the course of the year. Well, I recorded 31. So I met the goal. I was pretty proud of that. Even with a blip during the middle of the year, June and July, ran into a couple of challenges and, still forged ahead. Recorded 31 episodes during the year of 2023. A goal that I did not achieve, not proud of this one, but I wanted to get in better shape, health-wise. I'm not 29 years old anymore. And I want to do the best I can for my family. I want to be the best husband I can possibly be. I want to be the best dad for my kids. My kids are getting older, but I still want to be the best dad for them. And that means I got to take better care of myself. So I did not do great in meeting that goal in 2023. So we have to review the past honestly, right? We have to be honest with ourselves. We have to know what was good, what was bad, why was it bad? Why didn't I meet that goal? Why didn't I not meet that health goal? Well, there were some specific reasons. And I'm going to try and, well, here I said that word try. I'm going to do better in 2024 on that goal. I don't like that word try. Try, it gives you an escape. So we're gonna meet the goal in 2024. So review 2023. Review what worked for you. Review where maybe you had some challenges and missed out on some opportunities, and why did you miss out? And correct that in 2024. That's how we're going to plan for the best year ever. So as we go through and develop some goals for 2024, I'm just going to throw out some suggestions and some examples that I've used and I'm going to use in 2024, and hopefully they'll help you as well. So where do you want to be a year from today? That's kind of the starting point. So for me, I have a specific trajectory where I want to go at the end of 2024. Now, I say that, and I reflect back on 2023. Well, lots happened in 2023 that I had no idea was going to happen. And so I kind of had to adjust. I'm not going to say the word pivot because I hate that word, but I had to adjust, and it was up to me to forge ahead. So remember we talked about the 4 A's at the beginning of this episode, and one of them was attack. Well, it's attacking the day. If you don't attack the day is going to attack you back. And so I don't mean that in a violent way, but I mean that in a way that you are going to move forward, that you're going to be prepared for those obstacles and challenges. And no matter what they may be, you're still going to move forward, and you're going to attack whatever falls in front of you because you are focused on achieving whatever it is that you want to achieve. So reflecting back on 2023 and now prepping for 2024, planning for the best year ever, where do you want to be at the end of the year? That's going to be the starting point for you to develop some good, solid, meaningful goals. And the goals need to align with your own values and your own personal mission. Now, you don't want to have goals that are so out there that they don't even align with what you stand for as a person. We've talked about core values before. Those are those non-negotiables that you need to live by and that you will live by. And we all know, we all have core values. We may not have articulated them or written them down, but we have our own set of values. And it's just a matter of living them out and to make sure that we never, and I do mean never, negotiate. So if, integrity is one of your core values, well, you are not going to compromise your integrity ever, no matter what the situation. And make sure that as you're developing goals for 2024, they align with your values and they align with your mission, your purpose. What is it that you want to achieve during the course of the year? So a year from now, you reflect back and say, yes, I've achieved, I'm learning from what I did in 2024, and I'm going to make 2025 even better. Remember, at the end of each episode, I say, I know today was a great day, and I know tomorrow will be even better. Well, I feel the same for the year. I want 2024 to be the best year ever, but it's not going to be as good as 2025 because I'm going to use everything I learned in 2024. I'm going to apply it to 2025. So 2025 is going to be even better than 2024. So let's talk about setting some good goals in 2024. And I like to look at it from two different perspectives, although they definitely bleed into each other. Personal goals and professional goals. It's super hard to just separate them. In fact, I only put it on paper, but you live your personal into your professional and your professional into your personal. You can't separate the two entirely. It's just, we're human beings and that's how we live. I have a set of what I call my personal goals, and I have a set of professional goals as well. And I know that they're going to be overlapping, and that's okay. But I want to make sure that I'm delineated the goals out so I can track them throughout the course of the year, because we'll only be able to achieve our goals if we set some specific milestones throughout the year and we track where we are throughout the year. But let's go back and talk about developing some good, meaningful goals. I like to use the SMART approach to goal setting, and it's an acronym. It stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. So SMART goals, specific. I talked about the podcast episodes of 30 that I wanted to record in 2023. That is a specific goal. It's measurable, it's quantifiable, the number of episodes. It was achievable. I did achieve it. 31 were recorded, and it's relevant because I have a podcast. I want to keep going with the podcast. And in order to keep going, I've got to record, and I've got to be planning ahead for all the episodes that I want during the course of 2024. So it's got to be relevant to the mission and the purpose of the podcast, and I've got to be able to plan ahead for it. And then time bound during the year. So what's my goal for the podcast episodes in 2024? 40. I want to record 40 episodes during the course of 2024, which means there's going to be an episode dropping about 3 times a month on average. I'm going to have one hopefully post or drop weekly with some breaks in throughout the year on holidays and so forth. So the goal is 40. I'm upping it from 30 from 2023. But that's an example of a SMART goal. So as you're looking at personal goals and professional goals, try to make them SMART goals so you can measure them and track them throughout the year. Some examples of personal goals that I have: faith, spiritual goals. One of my core values is faith. And I've said before, I'm not very good at it. In fact, I'm pretty bad sometimes, but I know that I need to improve, and I'm learning from the past, and I'm planning for the future. So one of my goals is, how can I strengthen my faith and be stronger spiritually? So the way to make that into a SMART goal, and I have a couple of different goals, but the one I'll mention here is I want to go back and I want to read the Bible. And I want to read some specific books in both the Old Testament and the New Testament, because I think we have a lot to learn, especially from the Old Testament. We get so caught up in, this is what I believe. This is what I believe. So if I believe it, it's true. Well, it's more than that. And we need to learn as many different perspectives as possible. So the Old Testament introduces so many different concepts, and you can read like the book of Judges 10 times and have 10 different thoughts on it. But I want to go back and I want to read books in the Old Testament and in the New Testament, 10 total. And so that's my goal, one of my goals under faith. Another personal goal that I have is a health-related goal. No surprise here. Didn't achieve it in 2023, but in 2024, I'm looking at it a little bit differently. I'm not looking at it from the perspective I want to lose X number of pounds. Instead, I want to have a percentage of body fat that I think will get me to a healthier way of living, a healthier lifestyle. So I've set a goal for my body fat percentage, and whatever that weight turns out to be, I'm going to be good with that, but I've got to get to that body fat percentage. And the other goal that I have, and I'm just kind of geeking out here a little bit on the data, because it's kind of how I roll sometimes. So I've got some goals for miles logged for cardio. So whether it's running or walking or whatever the exercise is, I'm going to log the number of miles. I'm going to log the muscle groups that I work in weight resistance training. So if I work chest, for example, I'm going to log that, and I'm going to give myself a point for each muscle group. So if I do, for example, one workout, if I do chest and buys, that's 2 points. And then after, if I run 2 miles, that's 2 more points. So for that day, I got 4 points. So I'm going to set a goal for each week, each month, and for the year, how many points I'm going to achieve or going to realize during the course of that time period. So whether it's a week, month, or year. So miles logged, muscle groups worked. Just a different way of looking at it. I'm trying to make it a little bit more fun, and I'm kind of geeking out there a little bit, but that's okay. I'm going to have some fun with it. Another personal goal is financial. We all need to have a savings plan. It's getting tougher and tougher to have a savings plan and to meet those personal financial goals. I can say personally, it's money doesn't grow on trees. We all know that. We need to be diligent about setting some personal expectations, a personal budget, and set a goal for paying off debt if you have debt, or building your net worth, so you can have that lifestyle that you want to live. And so I've got some specific goals, financial, for the next year as well. Professional goals, again, personal and professional bleed into each other, but I like the professional growth goal. And for me, it's the number of books read during the course of the year. And so I try to have a set number of books that I'm going to read throughout the entire year. And they're not fiction. My books that I set in the goal are always like leadership books, self-help books that I know they're going to help me in my career and help me as I work with my clients. So that's a good professional growth goal for me, number of books read. You might want to set a goal for the number of podcasts that you listen to. I can think of one right now that you might want to put into that goal called Game Changers. Seminars, number of seminars that you might go to try to learn something new that will help you in your work or in your business. If you're a business owner, you might want to think about having a goal for the growth in clients or increased number of transactions, or more specific to the financial, increase in gross revenue, increase in your profitability. But make sure that goal is achievable. Don't just say, I want to make $1 zillion when you're not even in the million range. So make sure that it's an achievable goal. Go back to that SMART theory of goal setting. That's really a good way to look at goal setting and developing your own personal and professional goals. Especially if you're a business owner and you're going to include some financial goals, make sure they're relevant, time-bound, and achievable. Super important. And again, if you're a business owner, you might want to think about not just bringing on new customers or new clients, but keeping those that you have. So look at a retention rate. If you have employees that you're responsible for, what's your retention rate now? How are you going to go about making sure that your employees are happy with what they're doing and they want to continue to work in your business for a long period of time? Make sure that they're loyal to what you're doing. But in order for that to happen, you've got to be loyal to them. It's a two-way street. You got to treat the employees like they're the most important asset you have, because they are. And having a retention goal for employees, that's a good goal to have. And now the only way, I want to mention one other goal that I think is super important: philanthropy. Give back. Whether you're a business owner or not, it is important for you to give back to the community. And you determine how you're going to give back in your time, talents, treasures, in the way of money, whatever works best for you. You've got to give back to the community. You've got to be able to do your part in making this world a better place. And I'm going to share just a quick story about my parents. Growing up, they would do something every single Christmas. They did it every year, although I didn't learn about it until I think I was in high school. And kind of embarrassed to say that I haven't done the same as I've gotten older, but it's something that we need to do. So every Christmas, they would send a card and a $100 bill to somebody who they thought was in special need that year, that had lost a job or something happened and they needed just a little extra money. So they sent a card anonymously. They didn't sign it. They just said, "Merry Christmas," and put in a $100 bill and sent it. And I always thought, wow, that's really cool. And they probably really needed that $100. And so think about giving back. And I'm not saying that you have to send an anonymous card with a $100 bill, but give back to people who need something. There are so many people in this world and in our community, right outside our back door, who need some help. Don't hesitate in providing that assistance. We all need to give back. So have a goal for it. Be philanthropic. And whether it's I'm going to volunteer this number of hours or I'm going to give this much to this nonprofit, whatever it is, set a goal and track it. And that's the last thing I'm going to mention about the goal planning for 2024 is tracking it. And what I suggest is that you track it every single month. So you know exactly where you are, whether it's getting healthier, the number of points that you're going to give yourself from miles run and muscle groups worked, track it every month. The dollars that you've saved, track it. The number of books of the Bible that I'm reading, track it. So you'll know every month how are you doing in achieving your goals. And set a milestone. Let's say in 3 months or so, every quarter, I want to have 100 points of workout. So if I get to 100 points in 3 months, I give myself a little reward. I don't know what that is yet, and maybe just because I'll be in better health, that'll be reward enough. But set something that is going to be meaningful for you as with regard to a reward. Because you got to make it fun. Life is short. Live each day to the best that you can. And this is a great segue to the 4 A's. Appreciate the first A. Appreciate everything that you have. You have a roof over your head, clothes on your back, food on the table. Those are the basics, yes. But be grateful for everything that you have, because there are people in this world that don't have a roof over their head. They may not have a shirt on their back. There are plenty that don't have food on their table. So if you have all of that and more, be grateful. Have that gratitude journal. Write down 3 things that you're grateful for every single day. Because remember, when you have gratitude and a thankful spirit, an appreciative heart, it's hard to be negative. So appreciate. Second A, attack. And I talked about this. Attack the day. Doesn't mean you're going to be violent, but be ready to face those obstacles and challenges that are going to occur throughout the day, because it's going to happen. Not every day is made up of unicorns, rainbows, and butterflies. And you got to be prepared. Even though you might not know it's coming, you have to be prepared to adjust if the time comes when you need to, and forge ahead. And the only way that you're going to forge ahead is if you attack. Attack the day in a way that you know at the end of the day, you can look at yourself in the mirror and say, I did good. Today was a good day. I made a difference, which is great lead into point number 3, the third A, add value. In every situation, in every conversation, you want to add value. It's going to be hard. There are going to be people that are just going to irritate you. And you're going to wonder, how in the world am I going to add value now? Doesn't matter how difficult the situation is. Do what you can to add value. In other words, when the situation is over, when the conversation ends, it's ending better than in the way it started. So the person that you've met, the person that you've talked to, you want them to walk away feeling like, okay, I'm glad that I talked to Jeff. That was a good conversation. Or whatever the situation is better because you've added value, you've done something to contribute positively to that situation. Add value. The fourth A, achieve. Achieve the goals that you are setting for 2024. Achieve those expectations, meet those expectations. And the only way you're going to do that is if you live with good intentions that are going to get you from point A to point B. In other words, you're going to get from today where you set the goal to point B, you're achieving the goal because of all of the planning that you've done. So remember the 4 A's: appreciate, attack, add value, achieve. I think that's pretty good for 2024. And I'm just going to wrap it up quickly because I know we're getting close on time here, 25 minutes, and I want to make sure that everybody takes it to heart what I'm saying for planning for a good 2024. And sometimes people have like a key phrase for a year, or, if they have a strong faith, they have a verse that they go to. So I'm going to add my own for this year because I think it's important. I think it's important to have like a theme or a Bible verse that you go to, and especially since I'm going to have a goal of reading 10 books of the Bible, I'm going to have a goal or I have a verse that I'm going to kind of refer to, and that is from the Old Testament book of Joshua, and it's Joshua chapter 1, verse 9, and it says this, "Have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go." And so this was about Joshua taking over for Moses, who had died. And Joshua is like, man, I don't know that I can do that. Moses was a pretty powerful guy, and he did all kinds of great things. And what God is saying is, Joshua, don't be afraid. Be strong and courageous. I am with you no matter what. And so I think that's something that certainly I need to live by a little bit stronger, and that's having courage, having more courage today than I did yesterday. So my key words for the year, courage, confidence, and humility. I got to have more courage. I always need to increase my confidence, but I'm going to do so with a tremendous amount of humility, because being braggadocious doesn't help anybody, especially yourself. All right. So we are prepped for the best year ever. Make 2024 your best year. I know you can do it, and set those goals, track them throughout the year. And I want to hear from you. I want to know how the year's going. I want to know that my work here on this podcast is meaningful and making a difference. And I'm only going to know that if you tell me. So please let me know. And you can do that by contacting me, by sending me an email to jeff@understandablesolutions.com, or my new email, which is jeff@gamechangerswithjeff.com. Let me say it again, jeff@gamechangerswithjeff.com. Or you can go to my website, gamechangerswithjeff.com, and you can check out all the old episodes, leave me a message on the website. All good things coming in 2024. This podcast is going in the right direction. Thanks to you, my listeners. Couldn't be more grateful for all the downloads and the subscriptions and all the stats moving in the right direction. So thank you. Thank you for listening. And especially thank you for a great 2023. And I know 2024 is going to be even better. And on that note, I know today was a great day. And I know tomorrow will be even better. Peace, everyone. Find out more about the show at GameChangersWithJeff.com. And make sure you're following Game Changers on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. We are everywhere. Never miss an episode. We appreciate you listening. Grateful for your following.